Alright, so good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. No? So today, in my video, I will discuss about the incremental analysis or what you call the relevant costing. Okay, so ito ay very important, no, particularly for identifying the steps, no, particularly for the management decision making process, no, the concept also of the analysis, no, which is the differential, no, and also we'll discuss about the identifications of the relevant costing. So ito class yung mga usual na tanong, no, or part of the relevant costing. Accepting an order of the special price, number one. Also about indicate the relevant costing in terms of make or buy decisions. Number three, deciding whether to sell or process it further. Okay? And the next one is all about factors in to be considered, no, in retaining or replacing the equipment. And the last one is all about whether to eliminate, no, or to continue the unprofitable segment. Yung 8 or 9, no, to be discussed in the other or in my other video. Okay. Sige. So, study of number one, no? So, identify the steps, no, particularly for your decision making process. So, ano ba yung kasi class pag sinabi natin relevant costing, very important here is all about management decision making, okay? So, ito class yung ating mga steps, no, on how you will be able to or the involvement, no, of your decision making process. Number one is to identify first the problem. Now, ano ba yung problema natin? And number two is to assign responsibility. So, we have discussed already about responsibility accounting, di ba? To be accountable, to be responsible, if you have the power to incur the cost, or if you have the authority to make payment, no? Or to make collections, or to incur cost, right? So, ganoon din class in terms of decision-making process to assign about the responsibility. Okay? So, number two, determine and evaluate the possible courses of action. So, if you have your problem and you assign the responsibility, we need also to know, no, or to evaluate the possible courses of actions. And number three, make decision. And the last one is to review the results of the decision. Okay. That's why class, no? Very important, no, in terms of your decision making process, no, is considerations, no, particularly for financial and non-financial information. Okay. So since very important is financial, diba? Sorry, non-financial, no? Um, Very important is of course both, no, financial and non-financial, no. Although non-financial information can be as important as, in some cases, more important than information which is financial. Okay, so we will discuss more, no. The following discussions will be primarily be limited to financial in nature. So we focus more on financial, no. Ayan, sige. So let's start, no. So describe first, no, the concept of your incremental analysis. Okay. Ano bang ibig sabihin yan? Okay. So ano bang ibig sabihin nito, no? Number one, okay. Very important here is that your decision in business involves the choice among alternative courses of action. Okay. The process used, no, particularly for this. All right, again, the process used, no, to identify the financial data, no, that change under alternative courses of action is known as incremental analysis. So, ano yung keyword dito, class, no? The keyword here is that it is to change, no, the financial data that will change under alternative courses of action. So, ano ibig sabihin, no? So, ibig sabihin, if the cost will change or the revenue will change, no, under alternative courses of action, yan ay relevant costing or incremental analysis, no? In some cases, both cost and revenues will change under alternative choices, no? So, in other cases only cost or revenue will vary. We go back to our cost behavior. Ano nga sinabi ko last time? the variable cost per unit and the total fixed cost will not change, while the variable cost per unit will vary directly, no, or proportionately, while the fixed cost per unit will vary inversely. Pero hindi na yan, hindi na class, no? Anong sanabi? It is important to recognize that variable costs may not change under the alternative courses of action, and the fixed costs may change. Yan. Okay, so meaning to say, very important na, no? Hindi na tayo more on the cost behavior. Okay, sige. So, also class, no? So, ano bang ibig sabihin talaga nito, no? Incremental analysis involves not only the identifying relevant revenues and costs, but also determining the probable effects on terms of your decisions about your future earnings. Yan ang definitions of incremental analysis, no? And also very important is the data, no, for this are often involves estimates and also uncertainty. No? Kaya ginagamit ito ng ating mga market analysts, no, engineers, and also about our accountants. Okay. So, how do we do this incremental analysis or relevant costing? So, halimbawa, the basic approach here, no, is that alternative A, alternative B of A, you have revenues of 125, cost of 100,000, then your net income is 25,000. Alternative B, you have 180, you have 30. Ito class common sense. Ano pipiliin mo? Of course, alternative B. Why? Because alternative B has has more net income, no, is 5,000 more than alternative A, no? So the net income column shows that the difference between the alternatives, alternative B will produce 5,000 more net income than alternative A. Okay. Very important here also, no? Of course, the key concepts. Okay. The key concepts here is what you call the relevant costing, no? So, in terms of this one, no, in incremental analysis, the only factors to be considered are those costs and revenues that differ across alternatives. Okay. And those factors are known as relevant costing. Okay. They are known as your relevant costing. So again, costs and revenues that do not differ across alternatives can be ignored when trying when trying to choose between alternatives. So, relevant costing lang ang nagdi-differ across alternatives. Okay. So, also, the key concepts, no, particularly for this analysis, yung tinatawag nating opportunity cost and sunk cost. Alright, so often in choosing one course of action, the company must give up the opportunity to benefit from some other courses of actions, no? And the lost benefit is referred to as opportunity costs. Okay. And the costs that have already been incurred and will not be changed or avoided or by any future decisions are referred to as sunk cost. And sunk costs are not relevant costs. So, ibig sabihin, class, only opportunity cost is relevant cost, no? Because it will change among alternatives. Where sunk costs, it will not change. That's why sunk costs are irrelevant costs, not relevant costs. Okay. So, ano class yung mga ano natin, no? Mga types of incremental. Ito class yung gagawin natin, no? Later. Accept an order at a special price, make or buy decisions, sell the products or process it further, retain or replace equipment, and eliminate the unprofitable segments. Okay, we go with number one. Identify the relevant costs in accepting an order at a special price. No? So, very important here, class, that in terms of accepting an order at a special price, sometimes the company may have an opportunity to obtain additional business if it is willing to make major price concessions at a special price. No? In terms of the special price, no, order at the special price, okay, ito na class yung pinaka-goal dito. it should be accepted when the incremental revenue will exceed the incremental cost. Common sense. Okay? If malaki ang incremental revenue mo sa incremental cost mo, ay accept mo yan. But please take note of this two bullet. No? Ano sinabi? It is assumed that sales in other markets will not be affected by the special order. Ibig sabihin, class, if you have your normal sales, dapat hindi yan affected with a special order, no? Kung yan naman ay affected, of course, you need to compute for the lost sales, no? If the others sales were considered or were affected, the lost sales would have to be considered in making your decisions. Okay? If the units naman can be produced within existing plant capacity, generally only the variable cost will be affected. Again, if it is within the capacity, the relevant cost is only the variable cost. Common sense. Bakit? If it is within the capacity, you will not buy or you will not rent other warehouse. So we have no warehouse or rent expense. Hindi ka mag-hire ng empleyado. There's the salary expense. Diba? If it will exceed capacity, dyan pa lang that the relevant, the fixed cost will be relevant. Sige. I'll give you a sample, no? To illustrate, assume that Sunbelt Company produces 100,000 automatic blenders per month, which is at 80% plant capacity. Variable manufacturing costs are 8 pesos and the fixed manufacturing costs are 4 pesos for 100,000 in total. Blenders are normally sold to retailers at $20. So, ibig sabihin, 20 minus 8 minus 4, you have 8 pesos would be your net income. Bakit? 20 pesos as your sales minus variable cost of 8 and 4 pesos fixed. Diba? 12 yun. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, 20 minus 8 minus 4, 8 pesos lang your net income. And Sunbelt has an offer from Mexico to purchase additional 2,000. Okay, meron pa tayong capacity. 10,000 divided by 80%, you have 1,200, I think. 2,000 pa tayo, no? So, at 11 pesos. Nako, i-accept mo ba to? Magkano yung cost? 8 plus 4, you have 12. 11 pesos to, no? Acceptance of this offer would not affect the normal sales of the product. Walang problema, no? If there's no effect, no, in terms of your normal sales product, accept mo na yan, no? And the additional sales can be manufactured without increasing plant capacity. Siyempre, class, sa una, okay, so ano ba yung goal natin? Ano ba yung decision? If it makes if the management makes its decisions or orada, no, on the basis of your total cost, di ba kanina 8 pesos would be your variable and 4 would be your fixed, 12. Tapos may order coming from our third party at 11 pesos. Sigurado, class, your decision is to reject. But please take note, it is within your capacity. If it is within your capacity, ano sabi ko kanina? Pag within your capacity, only your variable cost is relevant. Bakit? If it is within the capacity, meron ba tayong additional rent? Wala. Diba? If within the capacity, we will hire ba other personals? Hindi. Ibig sabihin, there's no salary expense. If within capacity, tayo ba ay bibili ng equipment? Ibig sabihin, there would be depreciation. Hindi rin. That's why only the relevant cost of 8 pesos is relevant. The 4 pesos is irrelevant. Bakit? With order or without order, you will have 4 pesos as your fixed cost. Why? Fixed cost is irrelevant. Okay? Hopefully, naintindihan, ha? Okay. That's why, class. However, since the unit cost can produce within existing plant capacity, the special order of your fixed cost will not increase. Ayun nga sinasabi ko kanina, no? The relevant data for the decisions, therefore, are the variable manufacturing cost of 8 pesos and the expected revenue is 11. So, 11 minus minus 8, you have 3 pesos. So 11 times 2,000, that's why it is 22,000. 8 times 2,000, you have 16. And the difference of this one is your net income. So what would be your decision? Your decision is that Sunbelt will increase its net income by 6,000 when accepting this special order. Okay, hopefully naintindihan ha. Madali lang naman siya as long as you know how to compute for relevant and irrelevant costs. Okay? Sige. Next one tayo is about indicate whether to make or buy decisions. Ang tawag dito class ay outsourcing. Okay? When a manufacturer assembles components parts in producing finished product, management must decide whether to make or buy the components. Okay. So, sa ibang libro, tinatawag din tong outsourcing. Okay? So, ito ay tinatawag na outsourcing. Okay? So, also class, very important here, yung tinatawag nating opportunity cost. Ano yung opportunity cost? Benefits forgone. Okay? And if there would be opportunity cost to use the productive capacity for another purpose, opportunity cost should be considered. Okay? So, very important here, yung tinatawag nating opportunity cost. No? And the decisions to make or buy components should be made on the basis of the incremental analysis. Okay? So, yun nakalasa, ganun yung ating goal no, for today. Anyway. So, in make or buy decisions, for example, assume that Baron Company incurs annual cost of producing 25,000 ignition, okay, for motor scooters. All right. Direct materials is 50,000, direct labor is 75, variable manufacturing overhead of 40. Then you have uh, variable overhead of 40 and fixed manufacturing overhead of 60,000. Okay. Yan. So, magkano lahat yung cost natin per unit? 22,225 divided by 25, you have 9,000 or 9 pesos per unit. Alternatively, Baron may purchase the ignition at 8. Siyempre, kung if you will make your own product, 9 pesos would be your total cost per unit. Pero pag bibili tayo sa labas, 8 pesos. So what would be your decision? I will buy. Why? 8 pesos eh. Okay. Tama ba yung decision natin? Okay. So at first glance, of course, it appears that the management, okay, should buy the switches for 8, no, instead to make 9, no. However, in terms the review of operations indicates that if the switches, okay, are purchased, all the Baron's variable costs. So, wala kang variable cost. But only 10,000 naman of your fixed manufacturing will be eliminated. Ano nga sinasabi ko kanina, class? If it will change, it is irrelevant cost. So, the relevant cost is only the variable cost. Yung fixed cost, yes, pero yung 10,000 lang. No? Sorry, yung 20,000 pala. Because the 20,000 will change. Okay? Yan, sige. So, if you will make your own product, you have 50,000, you have 75,000, variable cost of 40,000, fixed manufacturing cost of 60,000, then the purchase price is zero. Of course, you will not buy. If you will buy, the fixed manufacturing overhead is now 50,000. Why? Because it will change. Sorry, mali pala ako. 50K pala, no? Okay. So, 50 will remain the same and 10, sorry, I stand corrected again. 10,000 is the only relevant cost because it will change. That's why the 50,000 will not change. Okay? Then, syempre class, please take note, you have also here what you call purchase price, no? So, in terms of the purchase price, you have 200,000. So, with this class, no? If you will make your product, you have 225. If you will buy your own product, you have 250. So, what would be your decision? Of course, to make my own product because it will have a savings of 25,000. 225 minus 250. Okay. Therefore, Baron should continue to make the switches. Okay. Kaya lang class, sabi ko kanina, what if there would be an opportunity cost? So, ano ang opportunity cost? Benefits forgone. No? Assume that through buying the switches, Baron Company can use the released productive capacity to generate the additional income of 28. And the lost income, an additional cost of continuing to make switches. Ibig sabihin, class, pwede mong iparenta sa iba. No? Yan. So, there would be lost income. If you notice, opportunity cost ay nasa make, hindi siya sa buy, no? So, you have 225. So, ano na class yung goal? Ano na yung ating, hindi na tayo will make our own product. Of course, if there would be opportunity cost, your decision now is to buy the switches. It is now advantageous to buy the switches. Barton will save 3,000 worth of cost with this alternative. Okay? Anong tawag doon? A lost benefit. Okay? Opportunity cost. Okay. Siyempre, paparenta mo or sa iba, no? So, your decision now is to buy our product. Okay? And that would be make or buy with the opportunity cost. Okay? Next one is about decision whether to accept or to process it further. Para siyang joint and byproduct. No? Hopefully, you still remember no discussions about ano joint and byproduct. Sorry, sell as is, yes. Sell as is or process it further para siyang joint and byproduct. Many manufacturers have the option of selling points at a given point in the production cycle or continuing to process with the expectations of selling them at the higher price. Siyempre, kung ano yung pinakamataas, no? So, what would be your decision? By the way, sell or process further decision should be made on the basis of incremental analysis, no? And this one is your basic rule. Process it further as long as the incremental revenue from the such processing exceeds the incremental cost. Okay? Yan. As long as, comma sa slash, yung incremental revenue mo should exceed no with the processing cost and incremental processing cost, 'di ba? Yan yung ating discussion sa ating joint and byproduct, no? Hopefully you still remember. Okay. So, halimbawa, Salasis or process it further, assume that Woodmasters Incorporated makes tables and the cost to manufacture on a finished table is 635. No? So, you have direct materials of 15, direct labor of 10, variable overhead of 6, then we have fixed manufacturing overhead of 4. Alright, so, ito naman class is that you have your selling price for unfinished is 50. So 50 class now. All right. Woodmasters currently has unused productive capacity that is expected to continue indefinitely and can be used to finish the tables and cells. Okay. So plus if it is processed it further, anong gagawin natin, no? Of course, there would be sell them, no? At 60. Yung 50 kanina ha. Siyempre class, tataas na yan, no? 60 pesos. For the finished tables, direct materials are direct labor will increase by 2 and 4 respectively. So, mamaya class ha. So, ibig sabihin, yung ating direct materials na ay 15 plus 2, direct labor 10 plus 4. Parang ganun. Variable overhead will increase by 2.40, 60% of direct labor, and there will be no increase in your fixed costs. Okay? So, ano ba yung goal na? Ano ba yung ating decision? Should Woodmaster sell or sell or process it further? Ano nga kasabi kanina? As long as your process it further, incremental revenue will exceed your cost. Ano ba? Okay, sales per unit you have 50, then 60 pesos if process it further. Direct materials, you have 15, you have 17. Then you have your direct labor of 10 and 14. You have variable overhead of 6 and 8.40, and the fixed manufacturing overhead of 4 and 4. Okay? So, paano yun, sir? Okay. Ano ba yung ating decision? Ito yung napakadali. No? Kung ano yung pinakamataas, yun na. So, of course, it would be advantageous to have or to process it further. No? In this case, you have 1.60 higher than the per unit incremental processing cost. Class for me, ito yung pinakamadali sa lahat. Diba? Process it further or, sorry, sell as is or process it further. Sige. We go to number 4, no? Identifications, whether to retain or to replace an equipment. No? Para siyang capital budgeting. Kaya lang, capital budgeting is more complex. Ito kasi madali lang, no? Ito ay basic lang, no? So, management often has to decide whether to continue using an asset or replace it, no? So, ito naman yung goal natin. Bakit mo uh, to repair or i-repair, no? Of course, luma na, no? In a decision to retain or replace an equipment, management compares the costs which are affected by the two alternatives, no? And generally, these are variable manufacturing costs and the cost of the new equipment. Okay. So, yun naman yung goal natin, ha, to replace or to retain the old equipment. The book value of the old machine, ano yung book value? Your value, historical, minus your accumulated depreciation. No? You accumulate all your depreciation. And that would be your book value. No? The book value of the old machine is sunk cost. It is irrelevant cost na, no? Which is the cost that cannot be changed under alternative courses of action. Okay? So, since last ito ay sunk cost, ano sinabi? Sunk costs are not relevant. No, ayan. So, you have also your trade-in or trade-in allowance or cash disposal. No? The value of the existing asset is relevant naman. For example, class, now assume that Jeff Coat Company has the factory machine with a book value of 40,000 and the remaining useful life of 4 years. A new machine is available that costs 120,000 and expected to have zero uh, to have sorry new machine is available that costs 120 and expected to have zero salvage value at the end of the 4-year useful life. Now, if the new machine is acquired, variable costs are expected to decrease from 160 to 125. Okay? Okay to, ha? So, mag-decrease yung ating cost, no? And the old units will be scrapped. So, paano pagganap, no? So, of course, class, incremental analysis for this 4-year period are as follows. If I will retain, magkano, class? So, 640. So, 160 times 4. Pag-replace naman natin, magiging na siyang 125 times 4. You have 500,000. Okay? So, if you will retain, your cost is only 640. If I will replace, of course, the variable cost, the formula here is that 4 years times 125. Okay? And then the machine cost naman is 120. So, magkano, class, yung retain? 640. If I will replace 620, of course, yung goal, yung ating ano ay 620,000. Why? Because mas maliit, no? In this case, it would be the company's advantage to replace the equipment. Okay? The lower the variable manufacturing cost due to the replacement is more than offset the cost of the new equipment. Yan. Okay. Okay, sa malinaw tayo, ha? Okay, we go to the last one, no? Last one is to sell or to deciding to eliminate or to continue unprofitable segment. No, ito naman to. So, management sometimes needs to decide whether to eliminate an unprofitable business segment. So, what would be your key here? No, of course, to chase under alternative courses of action. And one fixed cost allocated to the unprofitable segment must be absorbed by the other. O, kung tayo ay may fix, syempre, pag nawala yung isang segment, di ba? Paghatian nyo yung mga gastos, particularly your fixed cost, yung renta. Okay? Yan. To be absorbed, So, in deciding Whether to eliminate an unprofitable segment, management should choose the alternative which results in the highest net income as possible. Ito class yung sample natin. No? So assume that the Martina Company manufactures tennis rackets in the three models, Pro, Master, and Champ. Class, di ba? Si Pro ay may 200,000 net income, Masters ay may 40, Champ naman ay may, yan lang, negative 20. No? So that would be your decision whether to continue or to eliminate Champ. Okay. Yan. So, although it appears that income would increase, so ano kasi nangyari sa 160? Ito kasi class na 30,000, kailangan mo yan paghatian ni Pro and Masters. That's why it is, sabi niya 2/3 and 3 and 1/3, no? So 30 times 1 over 3, you have, sorry, 1/3 of 30 para, sorry, and 2/3, no? So ibig sabihin, we add it, no, to our fixed expense. That is, siya ay may 80 and 50. Okay, so yan. So you have now 160. So it would depends sa hatian natin. Kailang 2/3 and 1/3 daw, no? So ibig sabihin 30,000 times 2 over 3, magkano yan? So we go to calculator. So you have 30,000 times 2 divided by 3. You have 20,000. That's why class, kanina magkano tayo? 80,000, di ba? Tama. Okay, 80 plus the, I'll go to the fixed expense now. You have your 100 na, no? Kanina, you have 50. You have also here 60,000. Yan. So, ganun lang class, ha? Alright, on how you will be able to have, no, 20 and 10. Okay? So, ito class. Tingnan nyo class kanina. Kanina, makano yung ating net income? 220. Because of the absorb of the fixed expense, class, please take note, bumaba pa yung ating total. No? Diba? If you notice, you have 220 and 210. Why? Because of the absorb of your fixed expense. To have this one, ito class yung summary. No? The result is also obtained in the following incremental analysis. If I will continue, of course, meron pa tayong 10,000, you have 90,000. Kaya saan ito galing? Dito yung galing, ha? Yan, Kisham, 110, of course, yan. So, 190, you have 10. Then, you have, okay. Please take note, class, the 30,000 is your fixed expense, no? Yan, so, ibig sabihin, you have 20. If I will eliminate, please take note, ang matitira lang dyan, yung 30,000 of the fixed expense. That's why, mas maganda na we should continue. So, once again, total net income must decrease of 10,000 to 20 minus 210. This corresponds to the CHOMP segment's contribution margin. Thus, management should not discontinue CHOMP segment unless other fines or other lines can recover some or all of the sales or contribution margin lost by discontinued segment. So class, ang ating gagawin ay to continue the segment because it will have 10,000 more than to eliminate the segment. So I believe this is my last slide. So hopefully you've learned about the subject about incremental analysis or the relevant costing. So again, see you in my next video. Bye-bye.